Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for Eden's Promise Eternity. This is the fourth newest raid made available by patch 5.4 in Final Fantasy XIV, Futures Rewritten. You don't really need a good memory to overcome this challenge. Or, okay, maybe you do. I don't know, I keep forgetting for some reason. My name is Mistech, and I'll be your raid guide. Maleficium will deal high raid-wide damage. Be sure to shield and heal through this as necessary. Throughout the encounter, the boss will comb through our memories of Titan, Leviathan, Garuda, Ramuh, Ifrit, or Shiva, and cast attacks based on what memory she's siphoning from. If you see her casting Cast, the attack will occur immediately. In later phases, when you see her casting Stalk, the attack will occur when she eventually casts Release. Casting a single Ramuh memory will cause a point-blank Judgment Jolt attack around her. Players will need to preemptively move away to avoid this attack before cast goes off. Casting a single Leviathan memory will cause the outer edges of the platform to be hit by tidal waves. Players will need to stay in the center to avoid this. Casting a single Ifrit memory will cause 2 Conflag Strike attacks from the back and front of the boss. Players will need to preemptively position on the boss's sides to avoid getting hit. Casting a single Garuda memory will cause 4 Pharaoh Storm attacks at each cardinal to fly out from the boss. Players will need to move to the intercardinal areas around the boss to avoid getting hit. Formless Judgment will target both tanks regardless of enmity with these red markers. They'll both take high damage here, so be sure to pop some cooldowns. Eventually, the boss will stun all players and a cutscene transition will occur, forming smaller platforms of Gaia's memories around the room. Players will be able to jump from platform to platform in an attempt to save each memory. On the first platform, a number of adds will spawn that will deal damage to the memory. Destroy these as quickly as possible. If you see this blue lineup marker, stand in it to soak some of the damage to the memory. Players targeted with these markers will need to move away from the raid and the memory to avoid overlap. The second platform will target 2 players with stack up markers. Group up to share the damage, but try not to hit the memory. These attacks will cause 2 adds to form that will attempt to destroy the memory as well. Destroy them as soon as possible and watch for the incoming knockback. On the third platform, more adds will spawn that must be destroyed as quickly as possible. A knockback will occur from the center, so make sure you position yourself appropriately or use a knockback immunity to survive. Finally, we return to our original platform and the boss casts a heavy hitting AoE. Throw up some mitigation, shield and heal. In this phase, the boss will begin casting Stalk while siphoning from 2 memories. These attacks will not go off for some time, but players should all identify which memory she's drawing from to be able to prepare for the eventual attacks. When the boss eventually casts Release, any memories she has stocked up will apply with overlap at the end of the release cast. Players will need to adjust appropriately to avoid getting hit. In this phase, the boss can also junction Shiva or Titan, strengthening herself with her abilities for a short round of special mechanics. If she junctions Shiva, she'll begin by casting Diamond Dust, dealing high raid-wide damage and afflicting all players with thin ice. Make sure you stay put to avoid sliding around uncontrollably or off the platform. 4 players will then be marked with AoE circles that must be spread. You can spread with some careful sliding, or if you prepare in advance, spread out enough before Diamond Dust so you don't have to move at all. Immediately after, a player will be marked for stack up and all players should move together to soak the damage. Rapturous Reach will target one side of the platform from the boss, while all players are marked for AoE circles again. Each player will need to move to the safe side of the boss while spreading to avoid overlapping. There's a lot of raid-wide damage here, so healers beware. At this point, the boss will lose her Shiva junction and the encounter continues. If the boss instead junctions Titan, she'll start off by casting Earthen Fury. This is a high raid-wide damage blast that should be shielded and healed through. Bomb boulders and titanic bombs will then appear on the platform in a sequential pattern. Players will first need to make sure they are away from the titanic bombs as they explode in much wider circles, while standing in the areas of the second bombs to form. Once the first bomb set goes off, they can then move into the resultant safe spots to avoid the second round of bomb explosions. For reference, players can use the circles on the platform to identify the width of each bomb explosion. Rapturous Reach will again target a random side of the platform, but this time a stack-up marker will appear on a player. Move in together to soak the damage. At this point, the boss will lose her Titan junction and the encounter continues. Be sure to watch for each cast or stock and release, and react appropriately based on the overlapping memories siphoned. Some of these overlaps form very small safe zones, so be ready to move those feet. The hardest part of this fight is remembering which 2 memories were stocked after doing a bulk of junction mechanics before she finally releases them, but with practice you'll have it down in no time. These phase mechanics will repeat until the boss is destroyed. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Up next, we're heading into Castrum Marinum, where we face off against the Emerald Weapon. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.